All right. So Todd's the smiles and you're the hammer, or what? How does this work?
I think it's the sort of same thing that happened.
All right, it is 5 o'clock, and I'll call the Tuesday, May 19th Emergency Advisory Committee meeting to order. I'll take a motion to adopt the agenda. Whoa, Councillor Blizzard was faster. Go ahead, Councillor Blizzard.
I make a motion that we adopt the agenda for today's Emergency Advisory Committee meeting.
Thank you. Is there any corrections or changes? Not seeing any, I'll close the motion. Please cast your vote. That is carried unanimously. Now I'll look for a motion to approve the minutes from the December 9th, 2025 Emergency Advisory Committee meeting. Councillor Endow, you're already on there.
Well, I lost to Councillor Bergen already, so I'll move that we approve the minutes as presented.
Thank you. Is there any errors or omissions? Not seeing any, I'll close the motion. Please cast your vote. And that is carried. All right, and then we will welcome Chief Todd Martins and Quinn Gillard to present today.
Well, good afternoon, committee members. Again, my name is Todd Martins, Fire Chief and Director of Emergency Management, and here today with me is Deputy Chief of Emergency Management, Quinn Gillard. Again, we're here to just present to you in your role as the Emergency Advisory Committee, and we're just here to give you an update since our last meeting last year, and kind of give you an overview of what is to come in June. So I'll let Quinn run through the slide presentation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the EAC. As mentioned, Deputy Chief Quinn Gillard for Emergency Management. So what we're here to talk about today is simply an update. Since we met last in December, you'll notice that we are sort of changing up the date time frame, by the way, as well, too, to be a little closer to the beginning of the emergency season. March kicks off the flood and fire season. May 1st tends to kick off tornado season. Judging by the little funnel cloud warning that we had today as well too, and of course all the other fun that begins. So to try to give you a little bit more advanced notice of what's actually coming in the future, and give you time to think about that between the next, and of course give a space between our last audits, tend to be a year, a little bit more time to actually take a look at that audit in a more recent light. So agenda today, we're going to take a look at the 2025-2026 AEMA audit that occurred back at the tail end of December. And we're going to take a look at the EM bylaw that is coming up for review next month. So the AEMA audit was conducted shortly after the local authority elected official course we held at the beginning of December of last year and concluded on the 15th of December. The findings from that, again, were positive as they have been other years. Overall, our EM bylaw remains compliant to the EM Act and, of course, the local authority emergency management regulation. But there are some updates that are recommended. Some of them are mostly around the concept of terminology, definitions that have changed over the past couple of years as well. Right? Our municipal emergency plans, or the MEP, again, meets compliance, and there are some finalized plans that we had to come back from a consultant about this time last year that we've had a chance to go through, and we're doing some revisions to that as well too, but that is coming forth, and that will be probably the subject of the next review of the AEMA audits. Exercises again, we are, that's one of our weak spots. We do need to do some kind of exercise every 4 years. We have to do at least a full scale, and the 3 years in between, we need to be doing something small. We do have on the board scheduled for this year some small exercises coming around that November-December time frame, where we're going to be doing section level for all of the different departments within emergency management, the incident management team. So operations, planning, logistics, finance, and of course the command staff as well too. And this would actually meet those requirements as well as we sort of build into a bigger exercise in the following years. Training meets compliance. We are, every single one of the local authority of elected officials is fully compliant. Everyone's got trained. All of our DEM team has the training that they need to have. The only weakness that we are at right now is within members of the incident management team by getting people qualified on the basic emergency management and the ICS 100 program. But we do have a lot of members on that IMT that are over and above that minimum standard that is put forth by the Alberta government. And we have people that are qualified on functional positions all throughout our incident management team as well too. So we have some good, we have a little bit of work to do, but otherwise we're doing fine in that regard. The EM bylaw is 6-7 years old in that time frame and is due for a review. And some of the reviews that we need to look at were obviously pointed out by the Alberta Emergency Management Agency themselves for updates for terms and terminology and things like that. But there's also other programs such as the DRP, the Disaster Recovery Program, that have changed. It's now known as HARP. So we want to make those changes as well too. And of course, what are those financial implications that go along with that? And as we go through that bylaw change, we are changing plans and formats and making sure that everything's current to the existing standards that we have. Some of the changes that we're going to be doing in that bylaw are also a restructure for simple ease of reading. There's a lot of redundancies in that overall bylaw, and we want to make sure that when people read through it, it's understood, or at least understandable the first time around, rather than having to go back and forth throughout the document itself. Other things that have changed are staffing. The last bylaw we had the formation of the DEM and deputy DEMs, and that has since turned itself into a DEM team, where we meet every couple of months, and of course we do a lot of work that is essentially the work that the Emergency Management Agency was doing. So we're actually sort of taking that process and moving that along to reflect the current realities. The fire chief was mentioned in that bylaw as well too, and the roles and responsibilities of the fire chief within that bylaw are now actually encapsulated in the job description that I hold today. So why are we actually having these add-ins where we don't need to have them anymore? So we're just going to trim it down. We're going to make it a little simpler to use. And of course, we're taking a look at the leaner EMA, Emergency Management Agency structure as well too. Our current EMA is basically comprised of every single senior management team member with the exception of one or two, plus a general manager. And to get everyone together, we might as well just have an SMT meeting itself. So why are we structured like that? So we're going to change it up a little bit. And finally is the IMT training requirements. To have that enshrined within the actual bylaw, these are the minimums that we have to pertain to our organization and how we do our business. That's what we're trying to put into that as well too. Again, just to make sure that we have that enforcement behind that piece. And that hopefully will be coming before you in its full final form for 3 readings on the 23rd of June. So we hope to have that uploaded in the next couple of weeks into eScribe. That is my presentation. Do you have any questions?
All right, we have Councillor Nguyen first.
Yeah, it's a quick question. How many directors of emergency management do we have? I think there's one per department, kind of. And the reason I asked it, I was just kind of interested to see the team from Fort Saskatchewan working from all the different career paths in within the city. So do we have about a dozen or 20 that are qualified to do that?
So through the chair to Councillor Nguyen, we actually have one director of emergency management, and that is Chief Martins.
Sorry.
And the bylaw identifies one director, but we also have 4 deputy directors, and the bylaw allows us to actually have as many deputy directors as we wish. What we try to shoot for is a variety of skill sets and competencies within that. So currently we have myself, we have Director of Protective Services, Corrine Rayner, for that enforcement piece, as well as Supervisor Ben Sharp within the enforcement. We've had in the past, Craig Thomas, used to be with planning and development and whatnot. And we've had communications directors, Wendy Kinsell, in the past. We just brought Jesse Bailey, communications director, onto the team as well too. So we try to have a variety of different skill sets, but again, we try to keep it slim, and we can invite in other members to attend meetings as well too, to actually put forth their own competencies and their feedback as a stakeholder.
So what training or accreditation do the other staff members have that were attending the Emergency Management Academy?
So the IMT members, minimum people have to start off with ICS 100, and then they go from there to a 200 level, and then finally a 300 level is more the intermediate ICS. Now that's not required for anybody by the AEMA director guidelines. ICS 100 and basic emergency management is it. To get people trained to the functional positions of the command and general staff, they have to have that 300 level before they can take a functional position course. To become a DEM, they have to have the 300 before they can take the Director of Emergency Management course. And then there are other programs that are being developed right now to help out with the rest of the incident management team structure that's currently underway by Alberta Emergency Management Agency. So we may see more depth on the bench for that later on down the line. OHS identifies people need to be competent to do their jobs. We're trying to meet that requirement as well too.
Excellent. Thanks for that answer. It gives me a little bit understanding
Sorry
of
if it was
all
long
the
winded.
players here.
Councillor Wesley?
Yeah, I'm just curious, with the recommendation of more exercises, was there any structural impediment or any constraint that you faced in not having more exercises? Or is this more of a thing we've just discovered that they've decided that we need more exercises and we were mostly unaware?
No, we were aware that we needed more exercises. Basically the problem that we faced coming out of COVID was getting everyone back up to snuff with ICS training and of course refreshing that. We didn't do anything for years, and we only just qualified myself just this past year on ICS 200 and 100 level structure, so we can actually start getting our own people trained internally. And of course with all of that is refresher training, everything else. So we are gradually working towards it, but structurally within our system we had no real impediments to that other than just simply time.
Okay, I'm a little acronym challenged. ICS 100, ICS 200 means
Incident command systems. My apologies to the
Okay.
chair, to Councillor
No,
Wesley.
no, they all understand it. I'm the slow kid here. Okay, thanks.
It's true. Oh, okay. Looks like I am next on questions. So I guess my questions center around council's role in like your ongoing work. So when you talk about, just throw a couple things at you. So when you talk about your small and your large exercises, what role can council play, if any? Or even like your DEM meeting that you say that you have every so often, is it appropriate or makes sense for a member of council to come and just sit in on those meetings and listen to the commentary and what you're kind of working through? Is council involvement important here or appropriate?
So absolutely, it's very appropriate. As a matter of fact, we could have an exercise just for the elected officials and go through the motions of declaring a state of local emergency, to begin to do exercises with the rest of the incident management team and exercise an incident commander would be exceptionally valuable, I believe, to have members of the council come on and fulfill that role of declaring that soul and give it that sort of that realism that comes along with, as well as that extra practice. It's very, very appropriate, I think.
Okay.
So, to the chair, so that is part of Quinn's goals this year, is to work through the different departments on a smaller scale. Again, just building that confidence within the organization instead of throwing everything at everyone. So he's working with the different teams, the planning sections and the operations sections, and so you are definitely part of that. And like Quinn said, it'll be more about when to declare a soul. If you're not here, who comes in, and what is the roles of the EAC. So that is coming. We're just looking at scheduling for the rest of the year.
And what about the DEM meeting then? Is that appropriate or is it more really high level, not really something?
So to the chair, we've talked about this, and we've also talked about possibly making it a committee where you could appoint members of council, and we could look at that. Like right now, it's all of council as part of the EAC, and we come and report normally at the end of the year. And again, the purpose that Quinn spoke to, the reason to have this year early was to see if there was any feedback from the committee, and if there's anything that council essentially wanted to see moving forward too. So we're open to whatever the future might have for that committee.
Okay, and just a point of clarification, at the end of our package presentation, it says next meeting date, June 17th, 2026. Is that your DEM meeting? Like that, I don't think this meeting has to do with us.
To the chair, no, that was my own stupidity. I forgot to clear that off the slide.
Okay, Yeah,
You'll notice
no
it's removed
problem.
from
I
this.
looked at my calendar and I'm like, that's a Wednesday. It's not in my calendar. Okay, perfect. Thanks for clarifying that. I don't see any other questions. There isn't a motion in this report. Do I take a motion to accept this presentation as information or? Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm getting thumbs up. So we are okay. So I will, if there's no more questions, looking around second time, I'll adjourn the meeting at 5:14. Thank you. Alan, can you just turn on your mic?